today I'd like to talk about tomorrow. Not just tomorrow, but the next minute. We get caught up in the next minute. Have you ever turn on your phone and to see what the weather was going to be or is? Or have you ever looked to see what the financial indicator is going to be for tomorrow? That means you're thinking about tomorrow. You're not thinking about anything important because tomorrow doesn't exist. Okay? These things that we think are important, like tomorrow or the next minute, okay, just don't exist. And the more we get caught up in that, the harder it is to awaken. Now, I know that, most people on this planet would like to awaken because it's the greatest, okay? But unfortunately, they're caught up in tomorrow, okay? And I think if you've had any experience on this planet, you might know what that feels like, okay? I mean, so many people just, all they care about is what's going on in the next moment. They don't want to be interested in the now because to them, the now is just a stepping stone to the next moment, okay? To tomorrow, to the future. We all think the future is so important. And really, the future is the next moment, okay? Because that's the way it is. Now, these things that we're holding on to, like the next moment or the next day or the next year, okay, are holding us back, okay? And every day that we are thinking about the next moment is a day that we're not in the now. If you're thinking about anything, then you're not in the now, because you can't be in the now if you're thinking. I know it's hard to, think of the next moment or the next day or the next year as something that you have a stake in. But that is what it is. You have a stake in it. You have put your stake into tomorrow. Okay? You care about everything that's going to happen tomorrow, but you don't really care about what's happening today, because as far as you're concerned, today is over. Okay? I'm not saying that you can't have stocks and bonds and stuff like that and look at how they're doing and this and that and the other. I'm not saying you can't have that, but if you spend your mind time thinking about tomorrow or even thinking about yesterday, okay, then you're not going to be able to be in the now. And the only way to wake up is in the now. The now is all we have. There's nothing but the now, okay? The future doesn't exist. The past doesn't exist, okay? It's ashes. But there is one thing that does exist, and that is now, okay? Now, I know that's kind of hard to understand since we've all been raised with this idea about what time is, and we have cut time up into, an hour, a minute, a second, a microsecond, and so on and so forth. But the fact is that there's only one thing, and that's now, okay? Which can last as long as you want it to. Once you're in the now, you can be there for hours. You can be there for a whole day. And you will be blissed when you come out of it, okay? Because it's really blissful, okay? Because you can contact God in the now. You can't contact God if you're thinking about tomorrow. You can't contact God if you're thinking about the next moment, okay? And I know we all do this, okay, to some extent, because it's just the way we are, okay? I mean, it's nobody's fault that we are constantly thinking about tomorrow. It's just the way it is, okay? What am I going to wear tomorrow? What's the weather going to be like tomorrow? What shoes should I wear for tomorrow? What car should I drive for tomorrow? Okay? Should I go into this city or that city? Should I do this or that? It's constant stuff in our head, okay? And we need to accept that there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. It's just the way it is. Tomorrow does not exist. Only thing that does exist of time is now. If we keep thinking that there is a tomorrow, then we'll say there is a next year, and then we'll say there's a next decade, and so on and so forth, and pretty soon you're trapped because none of that stuff really exists. The only thing that exists is now, which is the time I'm making this video in. Now. Okay? And you can feel whatever way you want to feel about tomorrow or yesterday or whatever it is you're thinking about, but it's only going to pull you back into unconsciousness. Now, I don't like really the word unconsciousness. I like to say unthinking, but that's what it is. You're in a dream. You're living in a dream. Okay? That's what's going on. I know it's hard to understand how you might be living in a dream, but that's what it is. Okay? Okay, when you have a dream, okay, and you start to wake up from that dream, the dream was real, wasn't it? It seemed real. Like I had a dream recently where I was on a train, okay, and I thought, why am I on a train? I've never, taken trains in the past, yet here I am on a train, okay, it's training along. Okay? But it's not real. And I woke up and I said, oh, it wasn't real. Okay? This is what's going on with you right now. You are living in a dream. And when you wake up, you realize that this dream is not real. Okay? I'm not saying that your life isn't real. I'm not saying that your life isn't a good thing. Of course it's a good thing. But it's not as real as being in the now. Okay? If you imagine that there are levels of realness, which there have to be, right? Because there are levels of everything else, right? Then, that level of realness is, like for instance, now. Now is the realest time that you're going to be in because it's now, okay? And if you don't pay attention to the now, if you let it slip away, which everybody does, and you pay attention to tomorrow or the past, okay, or the next minute, then you lose the realness. You slip down a notch into not as real, okay? And that's the different levels of, and then sleep is below that in realness, okay? Now, plenty of people have said, oh, well, my existence is real. It's as real as can be, right? I mean, I have physics and I have my brain and so on and so forth, okay? And they feel like they're living real lives, okay? And I'm not saying they're not living real lives, but what I'm saying is that it's not as real as it can be, okay? Unconsciousness, which is not sleep, spiritual unconsciousness, is that you're living in a dream. I don't want anyone to feel like that's a bad thing. It's just the way it is, okay? And this dream that you're living in is not helping you because you think everything is going fine, don't you? Right? Your life is going fine. And when it doesn't go fine, when you hit a bump, you suffer, okay? And there's nothing wrong with thinking your life's going fine, but the fact of the matter is suffering is out there waiting for you. I mean, I don't want you to suffer, but that is what is, okay? Suffering. Anyway, the point is tomorrow is not real. that doesn't exist, okay? Until it comes, and when it comes, it will be now, okay? And if you feel like being in tomorrow while you're in today is real, then I'd say you don't have a grasp on real reality, okay? Because tomorrow is a dream, okay, of what might be, okay? And if we stake everything on that dream of what might be, what happens when it doesn't be that way? Then we're in for some serious suffering, right? Look, I know this stuff is very hard to really understand what I'm saying here. I mean, when I was unconscious or unawakened, you know, I went through life and I did what I had to do because that's what I thought it was. You know, I had no idea there was something better out there. A better way of being. And so I just did what I was supposed to do, what I thought I was supposed to do, according to what my parents told me, what the world had told me, the city-state had told me, okay? But you know what? That's not necessarily so, okay? They don't know, your parents don't know, and the city-state doesn't know what is real, okay? Because they're all operating in an unconscious state, and that's why the world is in such an incredible mess. I mean, look at look at Israel, okay? They've been killing people for 6 months straight, okay? And the U.S. just sent them more guns. I mean, come on. Is that sane? I don't think so, okay? Well, look at Russia, okay? Trying to take over territory. Because why? Because one man feels like he's not enough. Because he isn't, okay? Because as long as you're living in the unawakened state, okay, you feel the lack. You feel the hole, okay? That hole that can only be filled by God. That hole cannot be filled by any other thing, okay? You can try to put stuff into it. You can try to put money into it. You can try to put power into it. You can try and try and try, but you know what? It just doesn't work. What works is putting God into it, and not God of religiousness, okay? Where you go to a church and you sit and sing songs. That's not God, okay? That's what we made of God, okay? We unconsciously made it of God because God's not there. God is only in the formless dimension, okay? Which you can access by being in the now. If you want to have connection to God, that's how you do it, okay? By stopping thinking. Now, I've already told you guys on this channel how to stop thinking. And I mean, I'm sure you've watched some of those videos. So anyway, to wrap things up, I'm just trying to say what I think is right to say, okay? And that is that you are living in a dream, okay, until you start waking up. And you can start waking up by getting on the spiritual path. And what is the spiritual path? The spiritual path is accepting what is. It's hard to accept what is. I mean, it's very hard. But you can do it, okay? And once you've accepted that you are not a person, that you are a soul, then, believe me, you're gonna feel better, okay? This whole person thing, which I'm not saying that it was a bad idea, okay? It was what we had to do, but it's not helping you be, okay? You are a human being, and the human part, okay, which is what you are, and the being part, which is what you do, okay? Those are two separate things. Yeah, you're human, yes, but you're also a being. You're also a being. And that being, okay, is more important than the human part, okay? I love my body. It's great. Wonderful body. But you know what? My being is so much more important, okay? And your being is so much more important too. Anyway, try to remember who you are. You are a pure, beautiful, fantastic, wonderful soul. Okay? Whatever your body looks like, whether you're fat, thin, black, white, Indian, Pakistani, whatever you look like, whatever you are, okay, in your physical representation, it doesn't matter. Okay? Because you have a deeper identity. And that deeper identity is who you really are, and that is the soul. Okay? You don't have a soul, you are a soul. And that is what is really important. My opinion. This is just my opinion. I don't know anything. I mean, I know some things, but the point is, it's up to you to decide whether or not you want to be a human or a being. If you just want to be a human, then go ahead and continue to be that. Okay? And just turn this off and say, that guy's crazy. You know? But if you want to be a being, then you need to get out of your own way by accepting who you are. Accepting that there is no tomorrow. There is no next moment. It's all now. Alright, well, I guess I've said enough about that subject. I love you all because you're me. We're one. We're one thing. Me, you, and God, and everything else on earth is one thing. Okay? This is all a manifestation of God. Okay? And as such, beautiful, right? And what we have done to this manifestation of God is just a shame. And we're continuing to doing it. We're continuing to do it because we think what we want is more important than what God wants. Which is, in my opinion, a lot of crap. Alright. Once again, if you have any comments or questions about anything I've said on here, please let me know and I'll make a video about it. Love you. Have a great life.